Wall Street Memes Casino
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFLTV. G'day, mate!
Hey, mate.
G'day, Skye!
About time we had a chat. Had a little catch up.
I did message you like 2 weeks ago and you said, yeah, I've got some fight news coming, KUGAN. And can we hold off until then, mate?
I know, but to be fair, at the time, I was still waiting on them to sign the contract. So it wasn't like we could have had the call then and waited for the announcement, you know? Like, I wasn't actually sure that the fight was definitely happening yet.
All right. Well, I knew it was going
But it's definitely happening now.
It is now. Yeah, we love a late night Saudi announcement. It's always late night, around 11, 12 o'clock at night UK time. And
So random, wasn't it?
yeah, and then suddenly it's like, oh, the card's been announced. Oh, what? Skye, Raven? What's going on?
I know.
So, the first ever female bout that will feature on a Riyadh season card. So,
Yes.
you and Raven share that kind of honour, if you like. So, what does that mean to you, first of all?
Oh, honestly, it means everything. I feel like Raven and I have an opportunity here to kind of fly the flag for women's boxing, and hopefully, like, it's the first of many. I hope it's the first of many. I feel like the women have been missing out. It's sorry about Tito. It's
Right.
literally like the biggest stage that you can be fighting on. So obviously I'm feeling very grateful, very blessed for the opportunity, but I also feel like I have a responsibility to make sure that it's a fight that entertains the fans, that gets people talking about women's boxing, and hopefully we can see more of it on the Riyadh season cards.
I mean, as far as Raven Chapman goes, she's come on leaps and bounds over the last sort of 12 to 18 months and has been making, noise in her own right. So, yeah, this is a great matchup. This will be your second defence of your world title that you won from Sarah, which seems a while ago now. But yeah, I think it creates interest from a British perspective.
Yeah,
I know
definitely. I feel like this
you're
is
not really British, but you are kind of British, aren't you?
I am actually British. I'm a dual citizen, so I'm British and Australian. But yeah, I definitely do feel like it's like a good domestic clash as well. And definitely one that the British fans are excited about and have been like calling for a while now. I know it's definitely a fight that I've wanted. And yeah, I feel like it's the type of fight I've wanted for a while too. I feel like this is the first fight where people are actually excited about who I'm fighting. There was like obviously a little bit of excitement around me fighting Lucy Wildheart 'cause she'd just fought Michaela Mayer. And obviously same with the Sarah Mahfood fight being someone who'd recently fought Serrano, just for like those comparison fights. But I feel like this is a fight that fans see as like a really 50-50 fight, as probably two of the best in the division, if not the best two in the division. So I'm really excited. I feel like we have such a great clash of styles. I think it's a fight that can be like really entertaining for the fans as well.
Where does Raven Chapman rank amongst, on paper, the opponents that you've faced already in your career?
I think similar level on paper to probably Mahfood.
Yeah.
And maybe Wildheart as well in her own right. I think that's on paper. I think she's a better opponent. Not on paper, like just from what I've seen. I think she's probably going to be my most competitive fight so far. So I'm excited for that challenge. I feel like I haven't really had to like bite down and fight in any of my fights yet. And I feel like this is a fight where I'm hoping I actually will have to. Like, I know that's weird and probably like sounds weird, but I do. Like, I just feel like people haven't got to see some of the levels that I know I'm capable of going to. And I feel like this is the type of fight that's going to bring that out.
Are you saying that you want Chapman to test your chin?
I'm saying I want Chapman to force me out of second gear because no one's really managed to do that yet.
But it is so true, isn't it? Because it is about the opponent that you're with. That old cliche style to make fights, but it does need a dance partner, shall we say, to bring that side out of you, and vice versa for Chapman as well.
Yeah, I just feel like I train so hard and I put the hard work in, day out for weeks and weeks and weeks in camp, and it's like I want to be in a hard fight. I want to show more, and I feel like I haven't really like been put in a position where I've had to do that yet. So and I feel like this is a fight that could do that.
Let's talk about the actual build that you're on. Obviously, the Better Be Evan Bivol fight was meant to feature on the 5v5 recently in June. That never happened. Now I'm kind of glad that it didn't happen, because we've got
Yeah.
that with another card attached to that as well. There's some really random fights on the card. I've got to say, like, there's some really random fights on the card, but like I like a lot of the matchups. Like Eubanks, obviously, fighting Sarah Meta. Shakur Stevenson and Joe Cordina, which is, we knew that was coming, but again, a little bit of a random fight. We've got the rematch with Wardley and Clark. We've got Jay Opatai against Jack Massey, Whitaker against Liam Cameron. I mean, it's
it's
kind of
I feel like it's an exciting card from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Like they're all names that could be headlining shows in their own rights. So to all be on the same card, I feel like honestly, like just being on the card is huge for me. To be amongst those names. I honestly hope we're the first fight so I can literally just like have a shower and come and watch the show because it's huge. For me, I think the standout fights are going to be Opataya and Massey. So sorry about this dog, by the way. And I actually think Joe Cordina and Shakur. I think it's a good clash of styles. I'm excited for that fight. And I think a lot of people probably writing off Joe, but I think I don't want to say I think he can win, because I do believe Shakur wins the fight, but I think he could put up a really good fight.
Bold move from Cordina, coming off the back of obviously his loss to Kakachi not that long ago, going in against Shakur Stevenson. So
Yeah.
we'll see how that plays out. But it's yeah, but that's Cordina all over anyway. So to take fights like this is what he's in the sport for, like a lot of you are. So yeah, but that card is very interesting actually, top to bottom.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be a part of it. I think it's a big moment for women's boxing. I think it's a big moment for women in Saudi. I think it's a big moment for women's sport in general. So, yeah, I'm quite honored to be in the position I'm in to be part of that movement.
Absolutely. Right, I do want to talk to you about Paris. So I saw a couple of videos that you'd put out
Yes.
regarding Imane Khelif, who won gold. What was your kind of overall? I know, like I said, I saw a couple of videos that you put out and a couple of things said regarding that. But what was kind of overall response to the whole situation? Because there was a lot of misinformation being hanged about, I think, on the quarterfinal day. After her win, and it kind of triggered and spiraled. Did he just bring that back?
Yeah, he's being so annoying. I'm so sorry.
No, don't worry, it's all good. That's good. It's quite.
He's just like
back again.
he's on one. Yeah.
I can see he's on one. But yeah, a lot of information was put out, and then everyone kind of led with that, like people and outlets led with kind of this information that we didn't really know too much about. Now we know a little bit more, but can you just kind of recap on kind of what you were saying?
So I didn't like that it was becoming a trend that the media had completely twisted almost rumors and misinformation and lies. And that everyone was just jumping on the bandwagon without actually knowing anything about the situation. from what I know, even now compared to when I came on my story, because I was just sick of seeing people calling it something it wasn't. This dog. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so from what I know now, IBA, the amateur association that's kind of been like removed, and have lost all their rights to running the Olympic boxing, everything else. They apparently did gender testing at the last World Championships. Never been done before. Never heard of it ever being done. I don't know what that test was, if it was like a blood test or what kind of test they apparently did. No one's ever seen these results. No one, like, fighters, I know multiple fighters that were in that World Championship that said, no, apparently it was done randomly. I didn't get tested. And everyone I spoke to didn't get tested. I haven't spoken to Imane or Lin Yuting directly about what that test was. But apparently they both failed this gender test. And rumors started going around that it was that their testosterone levels were too high. Then there was other rumors that they had XY chromosomes. I don't know what this test was, and no one's ever seen these results to this day. It's not been publicized. It's not been anywhere. There's no proof that they've failed some apparent test. And to me, it just seems really, really dodgy. What I do know is they both have physical sex body parts of a female. They have confirmed that. They've always identified as females since birth, always boxed as females, competed as females on the world stage for years and years and years. I've known both the girls for years. I fought Lin Yuting twice. I've sparred Imane Khelif. They've both been beat by other females, girls, women, whatever you want to call them, multiple times. And I feel like a lot of what happened was a bit of a publicity stunt from the IBA, trying to boycott boxing in the Olympics because they're no longer running it. They started the rumor mill. They held a press conference in Paris around it, and I just feel like a lot of it was, targeted bullying, but those two girls were actually just collateral damage in a much bigger fight or issue that's going on in the politics of amateur boxing. For me, I jumped on because I was seeing so many messages, posts, comments about them being transgender. I don't think people understand what transgender is. They were never male and have suddenly decided they're female. I was getting abuse and messages from people saying, from grown men saying, so if I put on a dress, I can fight you and fuck you up. It's like, that's not the situation. Like, do you have a brain cell? How dumb are you? And it was getting quite frustrating from that point of view. These girls have like dedicated their life to boxing. I obviously know how hard it is to be doing what they're doing, and to be doing that at the biggest event of their life on the biggest world stage, where they've spent years of their life preparing for this moment, and they're being ridiculed, bullied over like complete lies by literally the whole world while trying to compete in the biggest event of their life. It's just like, and I just felt like they didn't have a voice, and I just wanted to support them and let them know that, like, and let obviously the public know that they are reading lies and misinformation and spreading it and making it worse.
Okay, just a couple of questions from that, Skye. So you sparred Khelif. What year was that?
2019.
2019. So that was 5 years ago. So you saw the reaction from her opponent in the quarterfinals to kind of bring the contest to a halt, shall we say, after 45 seconds.
Yes.
Of a punch that they,
Yes.
you know, I've spoke to a few people in boxing. I spoke to Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, etc., etc. It's been suggested that this was kind of planned from the off. I don't know what you think about that, but it was planned from the off,
Yeah.
from her opponent's team, that would happen regardless of kind of how this fight played out.
I heard she was getting paid and all sorts for doing that. So for me, like, red flag, but also I've also heard she's quit in the ring before, so maybe she just needs to find a different sport.
When you sparred Khelif, was it anything different? I know I don't know this for definite, but I'm assuming you've sparred men in
Yeah.
your career, etc. Did
Mm-hmm.
you, would you say that you noticed any kind of power difference when
No,
sparring other females?
absolutely not.
No.
I actually think if you dig deep on my Instagram, there's videos of me sparring Khelif. And absolutely not. No. I think she's a good fighter. I think she is physically strong for like any fighter, just like any other fighter. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there was anything that stood out to me that was like, oh my God, like I've never been hit so hard in my life, which I have by other girls, and they actually look really feminine. So
Skye, my question to you, in reference to what Khelif does, whether she decides to turn pro off the back of these Olympics, and you know, I've spoken to Frank Warren, I've spoken to Eddie Hearn. Frank Warren has a slightly different view on it. He doesn't believe, based on information regarding an XY chromosome, that she should have been allowed to fight in the situation she was. Hearn saying that he would need to know the complete facts and see evidence of
yeah.
things from last year, etc., etc. So my question to you, really, Skye, is that do you see any issue if Khelif turns pro of her going in the ring as a professional to fight women? Do you see any issue with that whatsoever?
I
Pending,
mean,
a lot of this talk about having an XY chromosome, which is commonly found in men. Do you see an issue with Khelif fighting women of her weight when she turns pro?
so I feel like if she passes all of the same tests, medicals, examinations as every other female, and nothing is out of the ordinary, I don't understand why it should be any different for her than it is for anyone else. Obviously, if she does a blood test or whatever test, a chromosome test, and it is XY, I feel like she's in a difficult position because I don't think there is a division for people that have obviously the physical body of XX but carries an XY chromosome. I feel like if that is the truth and that is the case, I can understand why people wouldn't want her to fight as a woman, as a female. And that would be something that she would need to figure out. But in saying that, if her testosterone levels are within the normal range of female, she's passing all the drug tests, she's done a physical test and there's just ovaries and stuff there, I don't see why she shouldn't be allowed to compete as a female. If she's intersex and she has testes inside her body and she produces more testosterone than the average normal allowed amount for a female, then yeah, obviously I don't think she should be competing as a female. But where has there been any results that are showing that?
Okay, but what does she do if that is the case? Because she's obviously not going to fight men. I think that's
No.
unrealistic that Khelif is going to, because of her chromosome situation, is going to go and fight men. I think that's kind of fair to say.
No.
So if she's in a position where she has these chromosomes like the XY, and that is the case, then what does she do? Like, it's It's a bit unfair on her, but also at the
It
same
is. It
time,
is. That's what I mean. That's why I'm like, if that is the case, I feel like it's not her fault.
yeah.
Um, but I think if she has the XY chromosome, but she has the physical body of a female and her testosterone levels are of a normal female range, I don't see why she can't fight as a female. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So you'd have no issue if you was ever matched up with her at pro level.
No. If she's been tested and her testosterone levels are the same as a normal female, what's her advantage?
I didn't even know, really, you could probably educate me a little bit more on this.
I'm no expert,
I'm
but
not
yeah,
saying you are, but
go.
you'll be able to answer this. I didn't even really know that like gender tests were done. Like I didn't really know
They're
that
not. That's
thing.
what I mean.
Right. Have you ever been gender tested?
No. And every girl I asked that I know that was at those world championships where they apparently did this gender testing said, don't know, I wasn't tested.
Have you ever heard of a man being gender tested?
No.
Right. Well, I've never heard of it until this came out with Khelif. I didn't even know that that was a thing. So that might be my
Oh, I
ignorance,
know.
whatever. I don't know, but I didn't know that that was a thing.
I've never heard of it. I've never been tested. I know many girls that were at those world championships where this testing apparently took place. They said they weren't tested. They don't know what the test consisted of, and apparently it was done at random.
I mean, I was baffled when I found out that all females have to have pregnancy tests before fights. This was years
I
ago.
mean, that's less baffling.
Oh, yes, but this was years ago. When I found it out, I was like, what? But then obviously it makes sense, obviously, because
Yeah, it makes sense.
someone might not know they're pregnant. I got that, but this was years ago. This is like
Yeah.
many years ago. I was like, what? I was talking to, I can't remember who it was, and they said, oh yeah, it's a pregnancy test. I was like, why? I was like, well, because I might be pregnant. I don't know, and it's like I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that makes sense. But I didn't know that happened until I don't know, maybe 7 years ago.
Yeah, but like obviously that makes sense why they would do that. You don't want to unknowingly harm a unborn baby that you don't know about.
Of course. But yeah, I just thought this was when I heard about this gender test, I thought, is this something that kind of happens in the amateurs or is known? But you're saying
No. It's never been done before, and it's happened at this one World Championships, which happened after IBA had lost all their rights and everything else. The countries were all removing themselves from their competitions, and all of a sudden they've gone and done this gender test, done all this media around those two girls being removed from the competition, and then all of a sudden it all being brought back up around the Paris Olympics.
Well, listen, it was.
I hope I don't get killed or something for talking on this, by the way. I think there's some pretty scary people involved.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to guess and say I'm sure you'll be fine, but
I hope so.
I'm sure you'll be fine. All right, let's come away from that. We've spoken about that. Just finally, Skye, what's your thoughts on this proposed tournament in Australia from Ludabella? We've seen it's nothing kind of, we're not seeing an official confirmation of it, but we're seeing potential people that could be involved in this.
I saw that. I mean, I think it's a great idea and it looks like a great concept. I was surprised Ebony wasn't among the bantamweights that were selected. I don't know how you want to word it. Just given the names that were on there, but I mean, I think it's a great concept, and I think I hope it happens. For the girls, I feel like women's boxing's kind of maybe like going through a bit of a like lull right now. Maybe that's the word. I think we need to like get it exciting again. We need to keep making those big fights. Obviously Serrano and Katie Taylor are set to fight the end of this year, which hopefully will get a bit more buzz around women's boxing again. Obviously Michaela Mayer and Sandy Ryan's another great big fight happening. I just feel like women's boxing just needs to get that spark back. I feel like it's gone a bit quiet.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with that comment. over the last probably the last 12 months or so.
Yeah.
A little bit flat in terms of whatever, but the fights you're we're going to see, shall we say, between now and December. So you mentioned Maya and Ryan, Serrano, Taylor, too.
Me and Raven.
You and Raven. So hopefully that kind of ignites.
Alicia Baumgardner's meant to be fighting Pursoon. I think that'll be a great fight.
Yeah, great fight.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Yeah, so like the big fights are there. I just think, I don't know, maybe women's boxing's just not being like pushed as much. Like I said at the start of this interview, I feel like me and Raven have a responsibility, like we're to really put on a good show on this Riyadh season card. Hopefully start seeing big fights on those big cards.
But you make a good point there, because the last sort of 8 to 9 months, all the big shows have happened in Saudi Arabia, and now we're
Yeah,
first female fight to feature on a Riyadh season card being on October 12th. So
exactly.
I feel like those kind of months where we've had some huge fight nights from
The women have kind of been forgotten about.
I'm not saying we're going to be forgotten about, but I think it was always a plan for the women to feature, and we're going to see that now. So it's about kind of hopefully from this card onwards, hopefully Fury Usyk rematch that we see
Yeah.
a female fight on that card, and then let it go. But no pressure on you, Skye. You just got to make
I know.
sure.
I love the pressure. Don't you worry about that. I'm excited. I feel like I have such a huge opportunity in front of me to do something really special on October 12th, and I know I'm not just doing it for myself, but I'm doing it for women's boxing as well. So I take the responsibility very seriously, and yeah, and I'll make sure I do everything I can to fly that flag high on October 12th. But I'm excited. I feel like I'm not looking past Raven, obviously, but there's some really big fights to be made. Obviously, Serrano recently vacated the IBF belt in the featherweight division as well, so there's going to be some movement there. I think it was just announced today or yesterday, Menka versus Bermudez for the IBF world title, so I'll definitely be eyeing off a unification bout very soon as well, against the winner of that, hopefully, which could even potentially be for the ring, as I'm number 1 in the ring, and I'm guessing the winner will be number 2. I think Menka's number 2 at the moment anyway, so there's a really good chance that we could have 3 belts on the line in a unification fight in the near future too. So I feel like it's a really exciting time for me, and hopefully a really exciting time for women's boxing following October 12th.
Absolutely. Okay, Skye Nicolson, thank you very much for your time. As always, we got there eventually.
Yeah.
Today, I know you delayed it, then I delayed it, and then we're here anyway.
Oh, what do we like?
What do we like, Skye? Right, we'll definitely catch up with you soon. Will you be at AJ and Dubois?
Yes, I'll see you at Wembley. We'll do a catch up.
Probably, yeah, catch up with you then.
Cool.
So thank you very much for your time.
All right. Thanks, Cougs. Thank you.
Well,
Let's go.
Let's go.
See ya.
Wall Street Memes Casino
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.